Last week, we chopped my Porsche in half. The goal is to build the ultimate overlanding rig with a truck bed to slide a camper into. But this was my daily driver and I'm starting to regret my life choices. Not having a single car that runs is a lot harder than I thought. We need to get this thing into the shop and sealed up ASAP.
Welcome to the Rad Factory, where we take cars that run perfectly and make them run interesting.
How are we gonna enclose this cab on our Porsche truck?
We're gonna have a roll bar that goes up and over that matches our general shape of the truck, and that we're gonna tie into our roof. That way our rear wall is nice and solid. Once we have that, we'll be able to put a sheet on the back and it'll be enclosed just like a normal car. We're gonna get all of our angles, we're gonna get some measurements, and make a drawing so that we have some sort of template to follow. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start from the middle and work our way out. That way we get our bend as close to where we need it as possible. We're gonna have to do a couple bends because this isn't perfectly flat. So we have some experience. We were able to bend the bumper using the same technique. So hopefully, since this is the second time doing it, we can do it pretty well. That looks right to me.
First bend, here we go.
It's gonna be a whole lot of little bends like that for the most part. So it looks like, put this on the wrong side.
Measure 0 times, cut all the times. That's the Rad Factory way.
Yeah. That first bend, I forgot that we need to go to the outside, not the inside. So that goes away, and this is our new center line.
Just like that, we're back, baby.
And that's why you start in the middle, boys and girls, and you leave yourself some extra. Crisis averted. Now, as we continue doing our bends, we won't get twisted because we want this to be a nice straight piece, not all twisted.
So we measured twice, Googled, yet somehow it's off. What happened?
So we got our center line in the right spot, but you have to adjust 5 7/8 for the bend radius itself. That being said, we did do this pretty long, so we still might be able to save it. 'Twas a learning experience.
The tube bending thing just takes a little bit to figure out. It's been at least 6 months since we did it last. So this is what it's ultimately gonna look like. Why do we need a roll bar in here?
We need a roll bar because A, we made this car a lot weaker by cutting it in half. So this will eventually tie into our floor and into our bed, which is gonna tie to the rest of the car. So that way it's gonna create a lot of rigidity within the structure of the car, especially since we're gonna put a slide-in camper on it. And we also just need something strong for the back of this car, right? Like we're gonna have a back here with a window and everything else. So we need to have something for that to be built off of.
We didn't want to just weld some flat sheet metal straight to the back of this. We need to kind of keep some roundness.
Yeah, that's the goal. Also, this is gonna be a SEMA build, so we want to do a really nice job. If we were just like function over form, let's just get this done as fast as possible, as cheap as possible, as easy as possible. Yeah, you could probably weld something to the back, but it's never gonna maintain the same strength as if building a roll bar and tying it to the rest of the chassis.
We were able to save this piece. We'll just do some more bends down the line and call it a roll bar.
Ain't nothing to it. Let's see if we can bend this thing up. Because we're not designing this in a proper CAD software, because we don't know any of the real angles anyways, it's gonna be a lot of guess and check. We're sneaking up on it. We're pretty good. I think we just keep bending until we get that radius. Just a lot of itty bitty bends one at a time. And we'll just be nice and slow about it.
All right, we have one side bent perfectly how we like it.
I love it. Honestly, it's gonna match up as close as you can do without rolled tubing to our piece right here. And it matches up great with the roof. And that's all the boy could ask for. So we're gonna go ahead and bend up the other side. These corners are going to be a little tricky, which we knew going into this because we just can't bend a radius that tight. So we'll have to do something funky to fill that.
Now we just need to bend that side. The bar is done. Nice work.
Honestly, it looks pretty good.
I am glad we decided to not weld the doors quite yet.
It was a very, very clutch call. So far the car doesn't seem to be flexing too bad. It's a little wiggly, but as long as you're not trying to use it as a trampoline, it'll be fine.
Mika sure had a hard day at work. I want to be doing that same exact thing right now. Wow. Look at that. Obviously, this will be sheet metaled in, and this will have the window.
That'll work.
Dude, with the trim, it's dialed. All right, what's next on the agenda?
Well, we're gonna start this morning by prepping the doors for welding. Obviously, we don't want these doors to be doors anymore. This is a truck bed. And when we weld these together, it's gonna give us a bunch of strength, but you can't weld over paint. So we're gonna have to clean up a lot of these edges on the inside and the outside of the door. And once those are cleaned and prepped, we can start welding these things together. We also are going to put a plate across here so that it ties the inside of the door to the outside of the door, and that's what's going to receive this roll bar. Today's going to be a lot of just prep work, unfortunately. You can't do cool stuff unless you prep for it, so a little bit of both. I think we have our first door fully prepped. We've got all our spots that are going to be welded are cleaned down to the metal. So we've got this, which is going to be where our roll cage dies into. And we keep calling it a roll cage. It's not that. It's really just the top of the rear wall.
There will be some safety, but also this isn't a Baja truck, so we don't need a crazy built roll cage.
But yeah, so this will tie in across there and there, tie in both sides of our door, and give us a nice sturdy place to rest that bent bar. Now I just have to duplicate all of this on the other side. It's that time. I'm gonna go ahead and tack the door panels together, get a couple things at least tacked, and then we can move back to our quote-unquote roll bar, and I can get that thing dialed in, tacked in. I've test fit our bar like 15 times. It's gonna work great. Whew, all right, we officially have some tack welds on this bad girl. That bar is tacked in. Obviously, we want more than just the door supporting the top of our roof. Also, we need something for our bed rails to tie into. That's where these come in. Well, not these. We're gonna use the round tubing. But for diagramming purposes, we're essentially just going to have a piece that comes right off of that down into our floor, so that we have a nice sturdy back wall. And then we are gonna have a piece that goes like that across to the other side. A good bit of structure there. Everything should be pretty well tied in. We have our roll bar tacked in, and we have the first side of our vertical supports put in. We've got our base plate put in. We've got our door panels tacked and ready. Everything's cleaned up to actually weld the doors shut. A lot of prep work today, but we have made tremendous progress, and I'm really happy with how this thing's coming together.
Excellent work. It looks freaking awesome, and it's coming together really well, better than I expected. The bar is tacked to the roof.
Pretty happy with how it turned out. We'll throw a little gusset right there, and this will be bomb proof.
Mika, quiet on the set.
It's time to start doing arts and craft with cardboard. We're gonna make a template out of cardboard for our rear pieces of sheet metal.
We've got a Porsche truck. This thing is looking so sick. I'm so pumped on it right now.
Yeah, dude, she's coming together. I'm just kind of percolating, trying to figure out how we're gonna do the floor joists for our bed here. I think a little bit of thinking now saves me a lot of headache later, so trying to take my time and do it right.
This is the first glimpse of it, what it's gonna look like as a sealed cab. And it looks pretty freaking awesome. Oh, he's drawing the window in.
Yeah, something about like that.
I like it. And then we got the sliding window so Mika can poke her head through. Is that the back of my head?
Yeah.
He's even got the hat and everything.
Yeah.
What an artist.
Yeah,
Just really
no.
capturing the moment.
I really want you to be able to visualize it for those of you who are visual learners. Yeah, dude. You got yourself a full wall now.
The vision is coming to life. It's going to take us a while, but every single idea that the Rad Factory has had, we have executed on. So we know that this is going to work.
Yeah, and this should be the coolest thing we've done to date. And we get to make this one nice. Like, it's not going to be an off-roader that's getting, like, thrashed at a racetrack. Oh, now I got to figure out these bed rails.
All right, we got our first, what are we calling this?
I'm calling them floor joists, because that's the closest to what they are.
All right, how's our level looking?
So it looks like we're about a 1/2 inch high at the front end. And maybe even more than that. So we're gonna have to slot out right here. It maybe doesn't have to be perfect. Still hitting right there. So we got ourselves a level floor joist.
Looking more and more like a truck every moment.
It's kind of like a house that's being constructed. We're at like framing. So you kind of have to have some vision to be like, oh, that's where that's going to go. And that's where that's going to go. I at least have the vision. So that's all I can be grateful for. This thing's coming together. I'm excited. There we go. That is a perfectly level beam. That's pretty slick, man. Even just seeing that little bit of flatness there, you can like already start picturing it as a truck bed. My tape lines up exactly where I measured, and everything ended up where it was actually supposed to go, and that feels pretty freaking sick, because this is the most made up thing I've ever done.
Working on these middle supports, and we ran into an issue.
Yeah, well, it's an issue and a bit of a blessing at the same time. This is the subframe. So this is like real deal suspension components, the closest thing to a frame on this car humanly possible. However, I don't know how we're going to attach this to that quite yet. Because we're going to have to notch our 1-inch material out to go over that. Much more complicated now, that's for sure.
Smarter people might have researched this beforehand, but not the Rad Factory.
It wouldn't change the fact that we'd be right here, right now, having to come up with a solution for it. We wanted our truck bed to be as deep as possible, and I do not regret our decision to bury this as deep as possible.
Time to see if the piece that I made fits. I will admit that I definitely messed it up at least once. So this square bar here that's going to support our bed.
So I think it's just got to get shaved down a bit. But it's better to be too long than too short.
Took a little more grinding, but we got it to fit. This is the bar that's going to hold up all of the supports that we've been working on. That bar obviously attaches to our roll bar, which then holds up these supports.
Nice job, man. That's a pretty good little piece of fab right there.
This bed's going to be super strong, so we can put Ninja 3-wheelers, jet ski scooters, all kinds of stuff in there. We've come to the junkyard to find a window for the Porsche truck.
I've used U-Pull and Pay a bunch of times on a bunch of different projects. I know we'll find what we need in here. I already looked ahead. There's like at least 50, 60 small, mid-sized trucks in here.
Brought our cardboard to make sure it's the right size.
Yeah, so this way we can't goof anything up, and hopefully we can choose a window that's the right shape and size. Let's go exploring.
We did look into ordering a new one. The problem is online you just don't know the dimensions. We need to get our hands on it and make sure it's going to be right. Hey, there's one right there, S10.
I think that's going to be too big. Seems awfully large. It's also very angular, which I don't like. It would technically fit, but not by much. I don't think this is our winner.
Okay.
50, 60 trucks in here, so we'll find something.
It is promising to just immediately start finding stuff though.
I know row 12 has some older Rangers, but I think we want the newer ones.
We might have a part of a Ford freaking Ranger on the Porsche truck after all. Oh, the very last, but it is broken. But we can at least test its size.
Man, that's close.
Right here is a little closer.
There is a first gen Tacoma in here, and I think that's gonna have a smaller glass.
We gotta try the Dodge Dakota. This one is very clean, not broken at all. Would be very nice actually. It's just a little bit too big. We're poking,
I think so.
Poking through on this.
Yeah, this bottom corner.
That's gonna be what gets us. Keep hunting, we'll find one.
This is exactly why we didn't order one online. We knew no matter what measurements we took, no matter anything we did, we would somehow order the wrong one and it'd have to get returned and just a bunch of nonsense.
What do you think of this overlanding gas tank holder idea? Just make it out of wood and screw it in?
I think one of those is a gas tank.
Yeah, it's got a filter. It literally is
That's the
auxiliary.
actual, like, reserve tank.
Bolted straight through the side of the van. Van life before van life was a thing is what this is. Gavin and his Tacomas, he's gonna be so happy if it works, but not gonna work. It's crashed.
This thing got absolutely wrecked. R.I.P. little friend.
Yeah, it sucks with this one not having any window. We can't even check like measurements and size to see if this would fit to order one.
We have one in the parking lot.
We could have taken measurements off Gavin's this whole time.
I did, but I just wasn't finding any new ones online. That's why I was hoping this one would be here. My dude, she bolts in. This might be our winner.
This is a pretty clean window for a junkyard Ford freaking Ranger.
Come on. We're gonna want 2 sets of hands. We only get 1 shot at not dropping this.
All right, you guys, hold on for a sec. It popped out no problem. Now the big reveal, will it work? It's close, but I think so.
Man, it's gonna be real close. Because remember, we've got our roll bar. This is definitely our best option so far. I mean, I do think this will work though. I'm sure it'll come with its own unique pain in the ass challenges like everything else on this build. The other interesting thing I'm noticing, it's like sunk in. So I wonder if we have to do something like that on ours to get it to like fit right, or else it's gonna stick off the back wall like a 1/2 inch.
Back at the Tacoma, got the seal so we can at least see the sizing, see what it's gonna look like compared to the Ranger. So we're not entirely happy with the Ranger.
It's definitely a little smaller, but the shape is a lot better.
This one, at least we know fits. The other one was very close on the edges. This one gives us a lot more room on the edges, but then we're back to having to order it and hope that it's right. Back in the parking lot at Gavin's Tacoma, we're evaluating and we think this is the direction we want to go.
It's gonna be a lot cleaner, I think, in the long run. It'll be easier for us to fab. And we checked with a local Toyota junkyard and they wanted $50 more than buying it on Amazon. So we get new parts.
He's got the massive tent camper on there so you can't really see, but you get the idea. Back to the shop.
I'm gonna go ahead and start templating all of our pieces for the back wall. We've got our main section taken care of. We've got to take care of from there down and from there to the door. So we've got our gap right there that's got to be figured out. All right, I've got all of our templates. Oh no. Oh, level didn't fall. This guy is for the bottom. This guy is gonna take care of both sides. And we've got the big one for the main piece. Got the first template laid out. It's time to cut our base. This is gonna be, in my opinion, the worst one to do. Fits like a dream. I added a little support down there and it's gusseted. On the bottom, it's got an 1/8 inch thick plate, just to help kind of disperse that load. Really, at this point, all that's left is to start kind of tacking in our bed. So that's what I'm going to do.
Back in the shop after my wedding, checking this thing out. There's a lot of changes since I was last here. The thing is looking awesome.
We've been busy, and by we, I mean me.
I mean, I've been busy too, planning an entire wedding, but not helping on the truck, I will admit that.
So today's a big day. We get to finally do all of the welding on the bottom of the car. The real problem that I've been running into, the undercoating on the bottom of the car literally catches fire every time I do a tack weld anywhere on the bottom of the car. So Dylan's gonna lay under the car with a hose while I weld the entire floor of this car, because we've got a decent amount of welds. Actually, you can just open this. A lot of you guys commented why we haven't welded the door shut. This is why. So now, when we go to weld all these posts in, when we do our bottom wall, all that is going to be so much easier because we don't have the doors. Everything is tacked together, and I'm pretty dang happy with it. We've got a lot of real solid welds on most of this, but the next step is we've got to get this floor done so that I can start actually closing the cab in.
It's looking freaking awesome. Let's just keep cranking on it. And definitely not burn the car down.
It would be ideal.
Important job, somebody's got to do it.
I can assure you those welds would not look this nice if we had already welded these doors shut. Really glad we left them open. It was kind of a risk. So far it's been panning out. And now that that's bombed in, we're officially pretty structural again. Like this is solid to this, which is now solid to the car again.
I was still seeing flare-ups down there with the water on full blast, so we could have easily caught the car on fire if there was no hose.
We're one down, we got 2 more of these posts to go.
got it done. It was like Chinese water torture under there, like just spraying it, it just smashing me in the face. I can't see where it's going. I just hear sizzling and see little flare-ups and try and blast it, and that was rough.
Two sides of the same coin. I'm getting burnt to a crisp, welding in the sun in a black truck. So we really had both sides of the spectrum there. You were drowning and I was burning.
But most importantly, it is done. The cage, roll bar, whatever we want to call it, not roll cage, is bombed in, and now it's time for sheet metal.
Yeah, we're gonna do this bottom piece of sheet metal first, just because that's gonna be the trickiest and the most annoying to get to. And Dylan's already wet.
Yeah, get right back under there.
That should drop just like that. All the rest of the sheet metal is going to be on this side of our cage, but I wouldn't be able to weld this if that was the case for this bottom piece. So this bottom piece is actually going to be on the front so that I can actually weld it in. As soon as we get the bottom on, you're off the hook, dude. You don't have to drown anymore. He's on fire watch, dude.
You on fire watch? You take over the hose for me, okay, Mika? It's about to be a real truck. We are moments away from starting the sealing of the cab.
Yeah, just a couple little tackaroonies. Tacked in, which means you get to do your favorite thing.
More Chinese water torture.
In this case, would it be German water torture? Because it's a Porsche?
Let's not bring the German torture into this. That was unpleasant. I mean, both of our jobs sucked. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, Dylan got waterboarded, and I for sure am gonna live at least 2 or 3 years less long after the amount of smoke I've inhaled. But that was the worst of the body panels. I really think so. Hopefully we're past most everything that's gonna cause like legit fires. The rest is just gonna be annoying to weld. That was a ton of work. But we got her done. Now, we gotta do the template for the back. This is our main template for the back wall. So this one's kinda important. Gonna get this traced out, cut out, and start doing some test fitting. All right, we got all of our pieces cut. Based on my templates, they should be pretty dang close, and that'll be enough. Pretty exciting.
Dude. We're there. Had to go to work for a little bit, come back, and we have a almost sealed Cayenne pickup truck. This is ridiculous. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Once I get this tacked, we also have one final surprise to check out.
Oh boy, they don't know about it yet?
All I can say is the Junkyard mission was a fail.
And we may have gotten something delivered to replace that fail. Oh, you guys, it's gonna be so freaking cool.
It's really looking like something now, and I'm pretty jazzed. I mean, look at that. Like down in there, where it meets the door. This is sick, dude.
That's like very technical.
Yeah, that was crazy technical.
That is legit.
I'm just thrilled. It's pretty sick.
You guys, it's coming together. The Porsche up truck is real, absolutely looking like a truck right now.
That's maybe some of the most complicated fab work I've ever done, was like trying to get this pretty dang close to correct. And I'm happy with it.
All right, should we do a little unboxing?
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of light, and this is at a reasonable stopping point, and I think I want to see what we unbox, so I think it's time.
I wonder what could be in a long, skinny box.
Yeah.
What part do we need that's in this shape of box?
So good, Dylan. Oh my gosh.
Hopefully it's good quality. It looks pretty decent.
Dude, this looks great. This will do the job for sure.
Junkyard wanted 250, Amazon wanted 200, so guess which one we went with.
I'm just proud of you for not going Temu. I know you looked. Moment of truth, my dude.
Holy moly.
Yo! It's so good! Oh my gosh! It's so good, Dylan! It's so good. I was really nervous that it would be the wrong size, the wrong shape.
We have built a Porsche up truck. There is absolutely no denying it now. This was like the cherry on top. The sliding back window is so sick.
I'm like actually really happy. A lot of this is just hard and maybe it's worthwhile, maybe it's not. This is coming together and it's gonna be really nice and I'm stoked. Like I'll be able to hang my hat on this one.
Heck yeah. My new wife can see our new pickup truck.
Hey, look at that. You have a wall and a window?
Yeah, that's traditionally what those are called.
Nice.
And it's
Cool. What are these
really
little arrows going to do?
What little arrows? No, oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna go change into a different pair of shorts real quick.
It's not glued on yet.
Those are just magnets.
I was like, those are cute little arrows.
That took a year off my life.
The Porsche up truck is really coming together. The cab is looking like a cab. It's looking like a truck. This thing is really cool.
The vision is right there. It's starting to come together. We can't wait to show you part 3. Hope you enjoy. See you next time.
Make sure and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay rad.